Hello, Oracles. My goodness, we just got confirmation from Franz von Holzhausen on the Ride the Lightning podcast that Cybertruck is nearing production. So, we're going to get into some details on that and lots of other awesome things that Franz spoke about on this podcast. If you guys want to check out that entire podcast, it is in the description down below. We will get into all of that in just a minute. All right, so Tesla Roddy here breaks down some of what they went over in this podcast. And the headline here says just that Tesla Cybertruck is finalized and nearing production, chief designer says. Now, for those of you who don't know, the chief designer is Franz von Holzhausen. So in the specific breakdown here says, while Cybertruck project has been delayed, it appears Tesla is finally getting very close to production. The automaker's chief vehicle designer, Franz von Holzhausen, said on the Ride the Lightning podcast with Ryan McCaffrey. After McCaffrey asked whether the Cybertruck was finished, quote, from a design perspective, von Holzhausen answered, yeah, basically, yes. Now, if you guys do remember, Elon had said just that himself back near the Q3 earnings call. He said, right now, design is finished on it. But Franz did mention in this interview as well that design never really stops. They're always constantly looking at redoing the design, updating the design, improving anything in the design whatsoever, even after a vehicle goes into production. This is why we see iterations, and it's not like Legacy Auto does, where Legacy Auto says this is the 2022 year, this is the 2023 version and model year. Tesla's always tweaking things constantly. We have heard about this numerous times before from Joe Justice and others speaking about how on the production lines, they're getting constant feedback. And if they hear about something that they can improve upon, they're going to do it. Then they're going to test that thing. If that thing ends up becoming even better with the testing and the new designs that they have, they immediately work it into the production. What's going to end up happening in that case is sometimes that goes into new vehicles, but it's not even announced because they haven't made it official yet. So there may be vehicles that are rolling out with upgraded hardware, less parts, better improvements on it that people don't even know about. People don't even know about these things. This is why down the road they can do software unlocks on things because you don't even know that this awesome stuff exists in your vehicle. Later on, they're like, yep, it exists. We found out that it's good enough. We're going to unlock it for you. Congratulations. Your vehicle is now better. And so this is why Franz is saying now, all right, they're done. They're ready to go in production, but he's never going to be done actually, because once it goes into production, maybe they find some things right off the bat and say, ooh, we need to change this. Or then the first couple deliveries happen and they say, oh, hey, we can actually make this better. This is just how they function as a company. This is why as a culture within their company, they're so much faster than everyone else because they're constantly making moves like this and they're constantly trying to improve upon their designs. And so McCaffrey also mentioned that production was slated for less than 6 months from now, and the Tesla chief designer did not deny nor indicate that anything would hold up initial manufacturing phases. However, von Holzhausen did say that Tesla never has a pencils down mentality with vehicle design, and Tesla remains fluid with its ideas. If the vehicle could be improved upon, or if the company decides to make changes, it will not refrain from doing so. This is exactly what we just spoke about with the whole entire culture behind production for them. We work consistently through the entire process, and we're constantly working on every detail, he said, and the refinement of that. And we learn things through the engineering phases and the manufacturing development phases that we can improve on, and so we do. He was sure to include that the Cybertruck has features that customers do not know about yet, but in typical Tesla fashion, no details were shared. One of the more interesting tidbits of the interview was when von Holzhausen confirmed Tesla was looking at adding yoke steering as a standard option on the Cybertruck. While prototypes have been spotted with the yoke steering, Tesla has not yet confirmed whether it will commit to that for the vehicle. However, von Holzhausen said it makes sense. And in the interview, Franz did also confirm that the Cybertruck is going to have doors similar to the Model X, where there is not going to be a door handle on them. Your key fob or phone are going to be enough, and the door is automatically going to pop open for you. He mentioned that the back doors will most likely be the same way, but there are buttons inside that you can press to open up those doors as well. because obviously passengers will not have that key fob, so you're not going to be able to do that. But you, as the owner, can go near those doors. They will open up for you. And now, this was just an audio podcast, so we didn't get to see all of their faces and what was going on. But Ryan McCaffrey did a great job of expressing what was happening with Franz's face. At one point, he added he smirked when Franz was answering some of these questions about new features for the Cybertruck that he could not divulge. So we also got some information when Ryan asked him if the Cybertruck was going to have vehicle to grid or vehicle to home capabilities for charging. Vehicle to grid or vehicle to home capabilities. Franz said he won't comment, but he chuckled when he said that. So this tells me we will most likely end up having that with the Cybertruck as well. So all in all, we did not get confirmation about when the Cybertruck was going to get produced, but it sounds like they still are slated for production and deliveries to start by Q3. My guess is still July, and then by the end of this year, they will be in volume production. So we still have yet to see all of this. No confirmations from Tesla on that as well to confirm that they still are on track for that, but we will most likely be hearing about that on the Q4 earnings call. And now they did dive into some other vehicles as well. So he did ask him about the Roadster and what was going on with the next generation Roadster. Franz did say that they are still working on development of this. However, the focus of the company right now is on mass production. Roadster is not going to be a mass production vehicle. So while they are working on it, that is not a top priority. They have other priorities that they need to focus on right now, and they will do just that. So the Roadster will be worked on, and it'll get here when it gets here. And he also asked about the round steering wheel coming back as an option to the S and the X. We know that they switched over to the yoke, and there were some mixed reviews on this, some mixed reactions that came out of it. And Franz was pretty upfront about it and said, well, we put it back in there because if that was the one reason someone was not going to purchase their vehicle, they did not want that to be the roadblock for them. So they added it back as an option if you want it, and that was the one reason you weren't going to buy the vehicle. Now you have that reason back to be able to purchase the vehicle again. So Ryan did mention how, it was weird how Tesla likes to be very streamlined with production. They're very efficient. They give people minimal options because they want them to be able to, speed up production and get it out as fast as possible. So it sounds to me like this was actually a major thing that people were, I don't want to say complaining about, but it was, a decision maker for them. And Tesla said, you know what? We're just going to add it back in as an option. If that was the deal breaker, now it's not anymore. And another great question that was asked was about the paint colors that we see over in Berlin. We've got the Midnight Red and the Quicksilver. Those colors are phenomenal. Even looking at them in a picture, they look great. And Franz said, pictures don't even do them justice. They look so much better in person. So of course that begs the question, and Ryan asked it of, well, when are you going to be coming out with new colors here in the US? We've basically had the same 5 colors for years now. And he said, so are we going to be getting new colors? And Franz just said, I hope so. And, being the chief designer, he did say that Elon obviously is, the final decision maker on all of these things, but sounds like we should be probably getting some new colors coming out. I would imagine soon, don't know when, but Franz is saying that he's hoping that we do end up seeing new colors soon. And then he was also asked about the design studio that they have over in Shanghai, asking if Shanghai is going to be designing their own vehicle. When this studio was created over there, that was one of the things that they had mentioned. In Shanghai, they really want to design their own vehicle. So as of right now, they are not doing that. But the teams do work together. So it's like a global design team. So it's not like Shanghai is doing their thing and the US is doing their thing. It's a whole global team, and they're always working constantly with each other to improve things. But Franz did say that in the future, Shanghai will be designing their own vehicle. They just are not doing it yet. Now I can go ahead and speculate and say, previously I thought that Shanghai and China were going to be designing the Model 2 or the compact car or whatever you want to say and call it. So maybe they are, and Franz just didn't say it. But, anytime he kind of said something that, he couldn't say anything more about, he was pretty, visibly, and you can kind of hear it in his voice that they are working on it. This time here, it sounded like they currently they just aren't. They are not working on anything of their own yet, but they do want to in the future. And so overall, I think it was a great podcast. I highly recommend listening to it. Again, I put it down in the description below. And, just breaking down all the different things, they kind of went through, they've got the chapters in there. So if you want to skip around to different parts of it, you can. They kind of talk about the DeLorean for quite a bit in the beginning. So if you want to skip that part, go ahead. But all in all, I found it to be very interesting to listen to. So definitely dive into that. And we'll see how the market is going to trade tomorrow. Not like any of this news is new that came out or groundbreaking by any stretch of the imagination. So I don't think a podcast like this or any information that we got from this is going to move the needle on the stock. However, we did see over the weekend that crypto was cruising way up. It's skyrocketing pretty quickly, almost in an unhealthy manner. But after the information we got last week with the CPI, sometimes we have seen crypto be a leading indicator in the overall market. So whether Tesla's going to jump with this, I don't know, but we may see a market jump today. Not sure. This was all recorded last night, so I don't know what pre-market's going to look like because this is Tim from the past, not Tim from the future. And we'll see what the market looks like, but there may be a chance. So if we are right now seeing that cryptocurrency has not crashed down from the weekend, we may see a relation with the overall market jumping. And we'll see and take a look at that. And we'll discuss all of that later tonight and see where the market has moved. So let me know your thoughts in the comments below. What do you guys think about this Cybertruck? I know a lot of us are extremely excited for this. Do you think that this really reiterates confirmation that we will see this come out and have first production and deliveries by Q3, potentially July or August? Do you think that's really going to happen? And do you think we're really going to see volume production by the end of this year? Thank you all so much for watching. Thank you for your support. Hit that like and subscribe button, and we will see you all later.